dati natin.
Alright, welcome back dito sa Duel with me and Ren. Dito po sa WxC Plus, we have one more topic tonight na pag-uusapan natin ngayon. We're in the last stages ng Dota Pro Circuit. Konti na lang yung tournaments na natitira. But, because of that, kailangan mong tanungin sarili mo, should organizers now have full power with the invite system? We're seeing a lot of friction online. Some of the Chinese tournaments, feeling ng mga tao may mga imbalance pagdating sa invites for the Chinese teams. Some tournaments have different na pagkahawak nila when it comes to inviting teams, even to their qualifiers. Star Ladder famously have only 4 teams in Southeast Asia competing sa kanilang qualifiers. Ren, anong take mo doon? Should organizers have full control over that?
You know, as far as the invite system, definitely. I think they should have the full control over that. This is, syempre, we're talking about yung invites lang per se, direct invites. I'm talking about direct invites. So, because this is something that happens to professional sports across the globe. This is professional sports and charity sports. So, they get to choose, you know, certain teams that will help their image, that will help their tournament, and that will help make it even a commercial success maliban sa actual tournament itself. Now, this was not even a big problem for most of the tournaments this year until siguro kasi until ESL Genting, there's like ESL Genting is a 10th tournament, but then lahat ng tournament, the 9 before that only had 2 to 3 invites per event. Actually, Dream League wala siyang invite kahit isa, lahat qualifier. So for direct invites, there's not much of an issue. Now, for the format, as long as may some sort of invites organizer, some sort of approval from the main organizer, which is Valve, I think is also okay. So, as you said, the Chinese tournaments with more Chinese teams, siguro mas suspect pa nga sa akin is WxC, with Indonesia having their own specific Indonesian qualifier, and the Bangkok having their own Thai qualifier. I think it's still fair kasi, again, this is something we see in traditional sports na host countries have additional seeds. I'm sure you're familiar with that, diba? Kahit sa FIBA, it happens.
Even in the Philippines, nung last time, not part of the DPC, pero Manila Masters, they had the Philippine qualifier.
Yeah, I think it's kind of normal. Again, at the worst, these teams will just be taking slots, but I don't think they'll be taking points anyway if they're not really meant to be winning. However, as a pro circuit, yeah, we'll give them invites, but to protect the integrity of the tournament, they should not be able to stop or prevent teams from trying to join or qualify, because that would actually disrupt the integrity of the tournament, because what you want is the good enough teams will be qualifying, and the teams that are good enough to win will win. As far as the problems that we have right now, I think it will be solved with better communication and guidelines. Kunyari, ako, I feel that if a team committed on a tournament, o wala sumali ng qualifier, dapat nilang laruin yun. Otherwise, they should be penalized. You shouldn't be joining qualifiers if you have no intention to join it in the first place.
I mean, I agree, but I think this is going to be siguro yung only topic natin. I'm actually kind of excited for this kasi I think this is the only actual topic natin ngayong araw kung saan I'm going to disagree. Because I don't think the organizer should have full power with the invite system. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying naiintindihan ko yung business aspect. We were an events company before. Kami yung nag-organize ng Manila Major here in the Philippines. I understand 100%. Your direct invites are basically your marketing tool, 'di ba? Kung walang Navi in a Philippine LAN, it's probably not going to do as well. Debatable now because the Filipino fans just really love Dota. Pero you can't deny na kung merong chance ang isang organizer sabihin na merong Navi sa event namin in an event in the Philippines, pangyayari yan. Kapag sinabi ng isang organizer in the Philippines na may Philippine team na sasali, for sure, 100%, hindi lang siya 1 SEA na qualifier, for sure mas may manonood dyan. Kahit gaano pa kadami yun, right? But that's where you have to put it into context, however. This is the Dota Pro circuit, right? This professional circuit feeds into the most important tournament of the year. A tournament where hindi na magiging factor yung saling kit-kit. Yung parang gano'n na parang sasali mo lang siya just so that meron kang local draw. If TI, which is part of the, and this is the end goal of the DPC, if TI said, we're in Canada, magkakaroon tayo ng Canada qualifier. I don't think it would sit well with anyone. So para sa akin, gusto kong i-keep yung consistency na yon across the tournaments that feed into that one tournament. Now, I understand, once again, there are things here na kailangan mong i-take into account. For GSC Indonesia, for GSC Thailand, for example, you have to also take it to consideration. Nasabi ko kanina in matinong usapan earlier this afternoon, I said, kung minor siya, okay ako dun. Minor siya, okay ako dun. Why? Because it's a minor, right? It's supposed to be your feeder tournament. It's your stepping stone into the DPC. Now, the problem is, hindi siya na-clarify na bilang ganon. But, functionally, kung yun yung gagawin, okay ako dyan. GSC minor, the two minors for GSC, they had national qualifiers. And because of that, they gave some, at least, hype to these areas that don't really receive LANs. Okay, good event. Nakita natin in Indonesia, maraming pumunta. I'm sure Thailand, dudumugin yan. Good. But, when it comes to the majors, for DAC, for example, where we're seeing a lot of Chinese teams, and you have to consider, with more Chinese teams going there, and the Chinese teams have not really won any of the minors in the majors. Or not won at all, even. Now they have
They won a minor.
Oh, they won a minor, right?
Yeah.
Right. They won
Genting.
UB won Genting. They haven't won a major, right? Now they're going to have a tournament in China with statistically a better chance for a Chinese team to take down just because of an invite system. So that doesn't sit well with me, right? Again, I understand it's a marketing thing. It's a marketing thing. You need to make money. You need to serve your fan base. Totoo yan. But to do it in the major, I don't think that should have ever happened. So I don't think the organizer should have full power with the invite system. What I want to see, maybe going forward, I want Valve to explicitly say, do those shenanigans in the minors. Right? Do those in the minors. Pagdating ng majors, kailangan pare consistent yun.
The problem with the minors is you don't really have a lot of freedom to do these things. Kasi wala ka ng slots sa minors eh. Walong teams lang more or less. And then, it's hard to make a consistent basis for teams sa invite because you only have limited data. Again, we talked about this before. The points are top heavy. There's only so many teams you can invite. At the same time, sino invite mo sa umpisa? Sino invite mo sa next tournament? Knowing that marami pang tournaments, they have conflicts and they have all these things going on. So, to implement some sort of universal is going to be hard. And we have to have this kind of sort of autonomous decisions from these events, again with the approval of the Valve. So again, I'm raising the guidelines. For sure, it can help and it will help. But I think there's no really clear-cut way of determining who to invite and who not to invite.
Naniniwala ako doon, pero tignan mo na lang yung alternative natin ah. You can watch it happen. You can watch it play out in CS:GO. In CS:GO, they have the legend system, right? Where across tournaments, if a team is doing well, they're given the legend status, and that is a pretty good basis.
It's very nice actually, but we don't even know if that's gonna happen in TI.
Hindi natin alam kung mangyayari siya sa TI. Well, totoo din because CS:GO doesn't have a culminating activity. Right.
Well, but we look at E-League Major, but kasi ang problema kaya sa TI, I think most likely na mangyayari is after the 8, there's probably gonna be invites again for each of the region and the runner-ups will play for the last 2 slots, something like that.
O pwedeng ganun eh. Pero ang sa akin lang, again, even with that right now, what actually do we know about the guidelines for the majors, right? Aside from yung the prize pool and the point system which comes from Valve, hindi naman yung mga organizers yung nagbibitaw ng ilang points yung give out nila.
I think naka-ratio lang sa prize pool yung
exactly,
points,
right?
Some sort of ratio, yeah.
So I mean, kung titignan mo parang ganun, ano lang yung alam natin? Hindi nga tayo sure kung 16 talaga dapat yung major eh. We've had a major that had 8, right? Hindi natin alam if the minor should only have 8. Ang alam lang natin, all of these tournaments should have qualifiers across the 6 regions. That's it. Right? Sa invites, I think GSC Thailand, GSC Thailand only inviting secret. Siguro, kaya nga siya naging news eh. Sila lang yung in-invite mo. Ibig sabihin nun, sila lang yung naka-invite, the other 6 from all of the qualifiers from each region, fulfilling that stipulation from Valve, and then an Indonesian qualifier.
No, Thai qualifier.
A Thai qualifier, or a national qualifier for them. Right? It's not codified elsewhere. So ako parang para sa akin, mahirap siyang tignan for the majors where the most points are being given out. Ang ayoko mangyari dito, pagdating ng epicenter, sabihin natin in the next few months, and I'm not bashing on any team, pero sabihin natin in the next few months, a team like Navi doesn't do well, would they deserve an invite for a CIS na major? I'm pretty sure Epicenter, they're going to be invited.
I think that's the wrong example because Navi almost always qualifies pag in-invite ang VP.
But that's not that's not ang ibig ko lang sabihin, just as a point of example. If a team doesn't do well, sabihin natin kahit hindi Navi, right? Hindi Navi. If a team who is popular but doesn't do well has a major in the territory na malapit sila or where they're popular or where they're native, they shouldn't be invited just because they're popular to a major. Do that for a minor. Okay lang sa akin 'yan. Pero not for a major. A major should be merit-based.
Yeah, the problem nga kasi sa minors, you can't really invite anyone anymore with just 2 slots or maybe less for some.
Maybe that's true pero
That's a problem, and then you have to do it to the major because sa major at least marami kang invites and then
sa 16.
You have more slots to work around with. That's why yun na nangyayari.
Then maybe the answer here going forward is we also need to restructure the minor. 8, I think, is not even. I don't even like that as a land.
Yeah, there were some with 10, 9, 11. One was
right.
We
had a
9. We had a 16
yeah.
even.
We had a 16 even for a minor. Diba? Siguro yun, medyo masaklap kasi konti lang yung points mo.
Yes,
But that can easily be rebalanced next season.
Yeah.
That can easily be rebalanced
Yeah, the
next
scaling
season.
it we talked about before, right?
Oo. Diba? So, yun lang. That's the one that rubs me off the wrong way. A major gives out so many points. And points right now are very important for any team. Even if VP attends a major and they win points, it just lowers the bar for everyone else in the top 8.
Yeah, my point pa lang doon, kaya ako sinasabi na ganito is, again, I'm gonna repeat it. Maybe these teams are gonna take away slots, but they're not taking away points. And yun na wala na slots na yun, most likely, I wouldn't want to assess their current skill level, but if they're not able to qualify, then I would argue that they will not get points din sa event na yun. With the structure as it is right now, the top 4 lang makakuha ng points.
I think right now makikita natin yun as we are seeing the teams now, because I think this first iteration ng DPC nakikita natin, we aren't really seeing a team like Wings coming in from the domestics tapos biglang taking over in the summer or the spring and into the summer. Hindi natin nakikita yun. Bakit? Kasi wala nang domestic leagues eh. China doesn't have a domestic league. The Philippines doesn't have a domestic league. We have PPGL, but the top teams in the Philippines aren't joining that. So wala nang hasaan na nangyayari. Actually, for this DPC, ang nakikita natin, kung sino yung malalakas sa teams, they're the only ones there.
Yeah, but kasi sobrang cutthroat na yun ang schedule nila eh. And
exactly.
It's one of the problem that it was not designed for every team to join every tournament.
Yeah,
but
pero every team is
right now.
what's happening. But I think yun nga, nakikita natin na ganun. And because of that, again, because there's no actual rule set from Valve.
Yes.
There's no actual supervision for Valve. If Valve had actual supervision, organizers wouldn't have full power.
Yeah,
They would be moderated. Diba? If they were moderated, I think mas magiging maayos to. But because it's all free market, it's all laissez-faire from Valve, again, you're having these problems.
Yeah, I think guidelines would really help. But again, if it's not okay, maybe kahit walang guidelines, hindi sabihin ng Valve, palitan nyo yan, hindi tama yan.
Ayun nga.
They're not even doing that.
Wala rin nangyayari.
That's the thing.
And that's also the problem here. At the end of the day, this comes down to if an organizer starts giving out invites to popular teams, or if it, again, I'm not accusing any organizer that they're playing favorites or that they're playing the regions or they're pandering to the regions. But readers, audiences, fans of Dota are sometimes seeing it that way. That's the tricky part with a conflict of interest. It doesn't actually need to happen for it to be a conflict of interest. If it appears to have a conflict, problema na yun. And that's the problem now with having full power to organizers. It appears as though, ilang beses natin na narinig na some RU organization, some Russian organization is just making sure that Navi gets a chance. Every time that happens, that erodes the integrity of your competition. I don't want to see that happen for Dota. So yeah.
I don't think it's I think people are gonna be making comments like that anyway. As long as you're giving invites, regardless of the merit, you can always make an argument against it. But if they have a certain set of guidelines, kahit na hindi public, As long as Valve is stern about it, they approve this, then nasa kanila responsibility, hindi na sa organizer.
Pero sa tingin mo pa rin, they should have full power with the invite system.
As long as, with some sort of approval with the organizer, definitely di naman to random eh. So I think yun ang isa kong condition na. Yeah, sa invites, yes. For the format, they have to have the approval. Kasi this goes hand in hand with how many teams are gonna invite.
So bagay, yung format mo yung gagamitin mo parang pan-check and balance na.
Kasi sa number of invites mo, yeah, again, it's more or less, pag titingnan mo naman, alisin mo yung qualifier slots na yun, it's more or less the same. I think the rightful teams are being invited more or less. There's only so much you can argue, but you can see that the invited teams usually are competent enough naman to be called invited teams. Considering, kasi, you know, it's easy to say na, but yan ang in-invite mo, but you have to consider the team schedules. Maybe some team doesn't want to play in this event, or may gusto magpahinga, like a tournament right now, if Miracle is resting right now.
Right, and for MDL, for Macau, hindi rin pumunta yung Liquid. They turned down the invite.
Yeah, it really happens. So, it's just the case.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. But that's it for the duel for today. We'll see you guys on Monday. Again, if you want to contribute sa duel, you can always watch us. Leave your comments on our YouTube page. Dun din sa ating Facebook page, Lupo ng Wombo Combo. Pwede nyong puntahan doon. You can find rin Darren Vitug PH on Facebook. You can also search Darren Vitug on Twitter. Ako naman, you can find me on Twitter at @ThePauBago. We'll see you guys next time. Good evening.
Hi guys, ako nga pala si Kat. At ngayon, gagawin natin ay magbabasa ng mga comments